Ladies and gentlemen, this is Q the Rhino coming to you live. True Ibiza Stories. That's right, Ruforia Remix Sessions. With Rufus White. And today our special guest, Filthy Rich. This show is sponsored by Native Instruments, Tractor, and the S4, as well as the F1 and the X1. Come on, baby, get some.
Right guys, we're down here on Lucky Life TV in Ibiza, down at St Geordie, and today we've had a very special invitation to head down to Ibiza Global Radio Studios to check out some brand new equipment and how it actually all works out. But before we go, we're going to let the boys introduce the whole concept and what we're here for.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Q the Rhino, and this is True Ibiza Stories presents Ruforia Remix Sessions. These are live sessions that we have on Ibiza Global Radio every week, and they're sponsored by Native Instruments and Tractor. And we've got our resident Native Instruments technical specialist here on the island in Ibiza, Rufus White.
Hi there, I'm Rufus White. So I'm the resident DJ for the show. But this week we've actually got a very special guest. We've got the amazing Filthy Rich here today. So we're just going to be having a quick conversation with him about how he uses Tractor, how it fits into his setup, and where we see the future of DJing going. Okay, so Rich, you use Tractor in maybe a little bit of a unconventional way, because you use the X1 with Tractor, but you don't use any CDJs. Is there a particular reason for that?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I was on CDJs when I first, like before using Tractor. But for me, I play as Filthy Rich. I play on my own, but I also play in a live show as well as Spectre. So originally for me, I switched over to Tractor to be able to sync when we're doing the live show. So I started out just using the X1 controller. And for me, the CDJs were never really an issue. You know, we didn't really need to use them. So I just used the two line-ins, use the controller to control both channels, and then we have the third deck with the laptop and
That's
APC.
it. If you've got another signal that you're trying to sync,
Exactly.
then obviously using the time code from the CDJs is going to throw you off with every mix, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we actually had a trainee session last night on the F1.
Yeah.
That's the new sample-based controller which Native Instruments have just released along with Tractor version 2.5. So what do you think of the unit, and can you see yourself using it in the future?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, it's definitely the future for me. I think, it's got exactly the same feel as the X1 controller. You know, it's small, it's compact. You know, you can travel around with it. But not only that, it's got all new features for the remix decks. I've got obviously all my parts of tracks that I've made and produced already set up in stems and loops and stuff as well. So for me, it was just perfect to be able to throw those loops in and just be able to manipulate that on the fly. That's just perfect. It's definitely where I'm going. With the Spectre live show, I think we've already got the third deck doing that anyway, so I'm not going to use it as much for that, but for the Filthy Rich stuff, then that's the future for me, for sure.
That's it. I mean, you can pretty much have your third deck as you would normally be using it, but just on the one laptop instead of having to chain another laptop through the setup.
Definitely, yeah. And I'm looking forward to getting it, man. I can't wait. I've been following it online for ages, so I'm like kid in the sweet shop.
So, Q, earlier we were discussing about there's been a great big controversy on the internet this week. Huge, in fact.
Everybody's talking about
it. The
it.
blogosphere has blown up.
Yeah,
okay.
Dude, someone let the cat out of the bag.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, actually, it was the mouse that let the cat out. So yeah,
excuse the pun.
Pun completely intended there. So yeah, basically what happened was deadmau5 has come forward and called out dance music DJs on just pressing play. Okay. So, Rich, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's kind of been something that's been bubbling away and underground for a while. Lots of DJs have been saying, there's certain DJs that just press play, and certain live acts, they're not live, they're just pressing play and things like that. And it's one of those things. People are always going to have their opinion, and I think it's very hard to kind of diss someone for doing that when they know that they're a good DJ anyway. But it seems to me that there's just no need to be able to press play and just stand there with your hands in the air. It loses the whole essence of what a performance and what a DJ should be. So for me, like anyone that just stands there and press play, then obviously we've been discussing the reasons why that could be, which is, you know, to do with the whole production thing, you know, all the lighting, everything has to be synced
to it. Exactly.
So, you know, there are obviously reasons, and but for me, you know, that you're just going to lose the whole essence of DJing and performing.
I mean, that's kind of taking things in a kind of very production direction, you know, instead of actually live DJing.
You're not really a DJ anymore, you're an artist and you know, a producer that's performing.
And people are basically coming to see your show just to hear your tracks at that point, you know. You're not really doing anything particularly special with those tracks, you know, and you're kind of moving in a direction that's gone completely against traditional DJing, almost, you know.
With the technology you've got available now, you know, like it's a huge wide range of technology, and you've got to choose what's best for you in order for you to be able to manipulate your music in a way that people have never heard before, and that's what these DJs aren't doing, and they should be doing that because they're at the top of their game. They're getting the most money out of any DJs, and they're not using the technology that's available.
This is it. You know?
That's
I mean,
stupid.
for me, the whole reason of like switching to Traktor was basically because if I was going to use a vinyl setup or a CDJ setup, I literally couldn't do the set that I want to do on that particular setup. So now I've basically got all the tools that I need to be able to kind of craft that sound that I want to do, you know. And okay, I could literally just record that all down and having it play in, let's say, Ableton, you know, from start to finish, and I'll just twiddle a few knobs. But for me, where's the fun in that? You know, it's like there's no challenge, you know. And also, like, it takes away that risk of fucking up, for want of a better way of putting it. You know?
Now that beat match is taken out of the equation, you know, you don't need to beat match anymore, which is what, you know, that is kind of the essence of DJing, where it all started. But, you know, people need to use that. They need to use the fact that they don't have to beat match anymore to be more creative, to do more when they're not beat matching.
Not less.
Not less.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
I'm
Don't sync
syncing my
everything
tracks.
and press play.
I have absolutely no problem saying that I sync my tracks, you know, because I also know that if push came to shove, I can beat match my tracks perfectly, no problem.
I started on vinyl like many DJs, like most DJs.
Exactly, you know, and the thing for me is, you know, it's like, when you watch me DJ, it's like I very rarely kind of take a break, you know. I'm constantly kind of doing something. I notice you're very much the same way, you know, and it's like that kind of like taking the beat matching, which is pretty much like the easiest part of DJing, out of the equation, you know, means that I've got so much more time then to kind of like plan ahead and think what I'm going to be doing with the music, you know. And, you know, obviously we've got Q's vocals kind of running over the top, which we're kind of running in with the loops and things like that, you know. Good job, by the way, there, Q, today. You know?
Q, tell us about the vocals, man. That was something special, right?
Well, basically what Rufus is saying, really using all the technology that we can. I mean, we had seen some different examples. When you go to the internet and you look up native instruments and how it's being used, I wanted to go find out how are they using it. You got cats like Dub FX using it in one particular way, looping things up. And it's like, hey, Ruf, let's try and push the edge and see what it can actually do, and try and do those things to make the music new every time. We're producers at heart, you know. We share the same label. You know, big up to our boys. And so Soul Shift music. So, you know, so what we do is like we think like producers. Even though we're DJs, we think like producers. How now in the modern age, how can you make a brand new track live for your fans that they cannot get anywhere else, because you just made it so dope live that, I mean, it's like, it's not pre-produced and you had, you know, 18 months to get it perfect. You made it perfect that moment because you just know your equipment, you know your music, and you know where you want to take the crowd.
You know your mind.
Yeah. And in the moment, it's happening on the fly. It's freestyle. It's the true new freestyle producing, which has not happened before. Before this, it was like you play this one, you play that one, and you make a mix. Okay, that's the freestyle mix. But now you make it. Okay, you make that remix. But now you can really just produce a track from beginning to end, bring in 3 different genres of fucking music, come out of it, and boom, right there, it's done. You don't got to do anything else to it. And with the Native Instruments tools, the compression, the way the sound comes out, the quality, you have that finished product when you're finished. If you recorded that, boom, that's it, bro.
The best thing about it as well is like what I found when doing the Spectre live shows as well. When you're doing stuff on the fly, you use that as inspiration in the studio. Like, there's been so many tracks that we've been doing stuff straight like on the fly, and we're like, fuck, we need to remember that and get it down in the studio, and it's like a whole new track, you know?
I mean, one thing for me that's really
so
cool
much
is the fact that, like, when I'm sampling from Q's microphone, okay, so that's coming through the S4, I can then take that loop And if it's like a cool loop, you know, that we could use in a track later, something like that, you know, it automatically saves that loop, you know, into my collection, so I can use that. I can take that out and I can put it back into a new track, you know, and we can remix that, put it into and use it as inspiration later on, you know.
That's a great feature, the self-save thing.
Yeah, sure. On the fly in that moment, imagine for me, I'm taking the music and 99% of the time I really don't want to know what's gonna come, so I can do totally like feel it in the moment. Takes my vocal, I don't know where he's gonna grab it, grabs it in that moment, turns it into something else. Now I'm feeding off of that. It never existed before in history. It wasn't someone else's nothing. We just made that bitch. So now I can bounce off my loop, he can grab another one, and then, you know, and we're off at the races. It's like making it in the moment and making it really, and then fucking with it after you've made it. You know what I mean?
It's endless, man. The possibilities are endless. You can put effects on the vocal, and then you can put effects on the effects.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's one thing I actually started to find very limiting about the CDJs, you know, and kind of the S4 came out really at the perfect point for me, because I was starting to get like I was stuck in a rut almost with the CDJs.
You can only go so
There's only
far.
so much you can really do with them, you know, in terms of like remixing on the fly. And I wanted to do so much more with it, you know. It's like a straight A to B mix every time, you know. I wanted to go past that, you know. And it's like the fact that I can use the cue points in Tractor and kind of skip about between them. I can make the breakdown drop at exactly the same point on both tracks or all three tracks if I'm dropping three tracks all at the same time, you know. I can bring the vocals in, you know, and have everything timed perfectly, you know. There's no way I could do that on CDJs, you know? No way.
Not without an octopus set of arms.
Yeah, that's what I always said. I was like, you need 6 arms, man. You need, it's just not enough.
Yeah, but right now with the S4, you have 6 arms.
Yeah.
Those 4 and you're 2.
So listen, Q.
Yes.
Do you want to introduce this bad boy?
Yes, I would like to. This is the Tractor Control X1, and this is going to be this week's surprise special gift from our Native Instruments Tractor. And it's going to be signed by Filthy Rich in some gold super sexy ass glitter.
Because that's what I carry around.
That's, you know. But we had some management get it. Anyway, he's Filthy Rich. If you had, you know, this X1 signed in gold glitter by Filthy Rich, you know your DJ career was on its way, nothing but to the stars.
Not just that, but you want that shit.
Yeah.
It's all about the bling.
It's all about the
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Nowadays, that's what we're even talking about. They've made it all about the bling, and like the production is more than the quality of what they're putting out there, I think. And I think we really got to kind of address that as artists. As when David Guetta came with Akon, you know, I'm sorry, but I got to say it, went on Ibiza Rocks, and they were doing this thing, and they were doing playback, and Akon was singing. Not really, but then when he starts to sing, or see, there was a break in, something happened with the setup, and he spoke, and his voice was so like off the charts of the whole track, and you realize he doesn't really have a voice that can take this crowd and move this crowd. So what are they really delivering? I mean, you're faking it so much that it's just it's smoke and mirrors now. And when if the power goes out, you can't hold a party, you can't run it. I don't think you should bring that to Ibiza, because if you do, the people not only know it, but they feel it, that you're not giving them the real feeling they came to get. And to me,
that's it.
That's not acceptable, dude.
Yeah.
Don't come to Ibiza and lip sync.
I mean, these people are paying upwards of €70 sometimes, you know,
to watch you
just
lip sync
for a bog standard ticket, you know.
Yep.
And that's before you're even talking about
the
like,
drinks.
the drinks prices,
Yes.
you know, and
the
all
ticket
this
you get
kind
on
of
your
stuff.
car, and then the cops giving you the ticket when you get out of there.
This is it. You know, if I'm paying €70 to go and see an artist, you know, I want to see that artist live in the mix that moment. I don't want to see something that he's performed, you know, or sorry, I say performed, you know, by putting a mix CD on at 10 shows before that, you know, and just kind of clapping along and waving his hands in the air.
I want to see him sweat, man.
Yeah, I want to see him doing something original, you know, that's unique to that particular set, you know.
And to me, I wasn't at those other 10 fucking shows. Why you show up? Why you giving me that? That's the energy I gave you, the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
Give me what the room is giving you, you know. It's like, that's the part I have a hard time with, because as a DJ, you know it. When you walk into the room, you got to feel the room. Okay, now there's 6 grandmothers there, but they're the grandmothers of my, you know, you got to tailor it to whoever and whatever. You just put the
That's
same
the thing.
in.
The crowd, they've got your music. They know every single song.
Man.
They know every single lyric.
That's
They
why
want to
they
hear
pay.
it different. Man.
That's why they
want to
pay.
hear it different. That's what you got to do.
Before we go, Rich, have you got any gigs that you want to tell us about that's coming up?
Yes, I have another gig out in Ibiza at Zanki's in August, so I'll be back over for like most of August. I've got lots of European stuff coming up. I'm in Ukraine next week. I've got a US tour at the end of July, doing San Fran and Florida and Chicago.
Okay.
So yeah, loads going on, man.
And productions?
Yep, too much to talk about, to be honest. I've got just had a track about to drop on Incorrect Music, my track Different Strokes. Also a track on the Stealth compilation right now, just come out on Beatport. And I've just been cooking up some beats this week in the studio as well, one of which I dropped on the show, which I think you were feeling.
The last track before the end there, that is the one. You need to watch out for that one.
What's it called? What's it called? Tell them what it's called.
Crypt Keys Basement.
Keys
Because I'm a movie buff, so it's all about Terminator, man.
Tell them where they can get it. Tell them where they can get it.
When I find out, I'll let you know. No, I don't know, man. It depends what label pick it up. But
How about your Facebook and your web stuff?
Okay, so follow me on Twitter, DJ Filthy Rich, and my Facebook is DJ Filthy Rich as well. Same.
Okay. And if you want to find out more about the True Ibiza Stories and Ruforia Remix Sessions, just go to facebook.com/Ruforia Remix Sessions. We'll put a link onto the video for you as well, so it's easy for you to find. We'll be back next week with our special guest Houseworks, so we'll see you there. Thanks very much.
See you soon.
Ciao.